Hey, third grade. Today we're going to be starting a fun new project called an Exquisite Corpse Flipbook. This was a game that they used to play over in Europe where they would have a group of artists get together and one person would draw a head and they would pass it on and then the next person would draw a body. And you wouldn't know what the previous person did until you put it all together or if you peeked. So this is somewhat similar. We're going to be making a flip book that has different heads and bodies. So for instance, I have an example of C-3PO here. And if you flip it, a different head of Darth Vader. You can see how it matches up. I can flip the legs. I got the body of Darth Vader. Oh, what's that? If they continue to flip, you can see I have Princess Leia. Or she's got a lightsaber. So you can flip back and forth, and no matter how you flip, you can have different bodies and heads, or you can decide how you want it to look. Alright, here's another example. Here we have a beautiful lady in a dress, and we can flip it, so we have a different head. The cat. Let's see how it all matches up. Here's another example. This is done by a third grader. So here we have a little girl. And flip, we have Medusa's head. And here at the end we have a scarecrow. So this one is somewhat similar, except it goes a different direction, which yours can. So here we have some sort of a dragon monster. Now each of the heads, bodies, and tails are all different, so make sure yours are each unique. And you can maybe be silly, like this one's wearing roller skates. So to get started with your project, you should have picked up a sheet of paper that has the kind of pattern for the Exquisite Corpse Flipbook. And what you're going to do is to have this on the back. You're going to fold it over until you get to about where the line shows up. Now to make sure your folding is straight, just kind of make sure you have it lined up along the edge of your paper. Once it's lined up along the edge and it's pretty close to this line, just kind of press and squish. Now it's not going to be a perfect, the copier sometimes gets off a little bit. We'll do the same thing to this side. Get it pretty close to the line. Make sure it's lined up along the edge. And then press and squish. Alright, then you're going to take a scissors. And make sure you have it wide open. You don't accidentally want to cut through this part. So I'm going to take my scissors, and when you cut, you want to use the throat of the scissors. That's the sharpest part. I'm going to cut, kind of following along the little edge here, all the way up to the fold, and then stop. And do each one. Alright, so after you have your paper cut, you take all the flaps, put them back to the inside. Just make sure it doesn't say name anywhere in here. This should be on the back side. After you're done with this step, you can go ahead and start the drawing part. After you have your design all cut out, make sure your name is on the back. And you can go ahead and start to draw. Now, you can decide what you'd like to draw for your design. You could make it different animals, people, or whatever you choose. It could be a combination of several different things. So I'm going to break mine into 3 parts: head, body, and tail. So for this first one, I'm going to make a person. So I know I want the head and the top part. So I'm just going to start by making a head shape. Just make sure you don't make your things too small. And I'll give them some eyes. They don't have to be super realistic. And a little upper eyelid. And some eyebrows. It's very excited. And let's do a quick nose. And we'll give him a mouth. And we'll bring some hair coming down. And some ears. That's going pretty quick. Apologize for the extra noise. I'm enjoying the outdoors. Alright, then we're going to give them a collar. And you can make your people however you want. I'm going to give myself a little bit of shoulders to make sure that I have a little bit wider so it's not super skinny. But it's kind of somewhat up to you how you want to design it. Alright, I'm going to bring my shoulders coming down. Arms get a little bit skinnier towards the wrist. And we'll give them like a button here. And let's kind of keep his hands simple for just example here. He's got some long sausage fingers. And I'm going to bring it all the way down here. We'll maybe make his waist here with some buckle. And the collar. And we'll give him a tie. And a quick pattern. And the thumb, hand which I should have drawn in before. Boy, those fingers are huge. Boy. Anyway. Okay, we'll bring the legs coming down. Put a V underneath. And I'll cuff it off. And then make some shoes. Alright, so the next thing you want to do is to mark your next panel. So when I flip it, you can see that it connects here. So my next drawing would have to connect at that point. And the bottom part would have to connect over to here. So you can build off whatever you're going to build off for this one. So my next one here, I'm going to make just like maybe a big parrot. And I'll just bring this up and over. And it has to come up and connect to here. And then parrots have like a really big curved pointy beak, a little thicker. I'll just connect this down and give them a big parrot eye. And then color that in, which you can always layer with a Sharpie. And they often have like a patch or a spot going around their eye, so I'll just kind of bring that around. Remember, feel free to look at pictures if you want to make something in particular. And a little stern, I should make him smile a little bit. And then it has to come down. So let's kind of give a little bit of a roughly side here. And we'll give him a wing. And get a few big feathers in there. And let's draw some quick feathers on the inside here. Just connecting the bumps. And these will just run right down to the edge. Alright. And then the tail feather for a parrot are usually pretty long. So I'm just going to take this, it's so long, maybe it's going to go right off the edge of the paper. I'll just have a little tuft of a feather here. roughly. And then I'll put some big tail feathers coming down here. This isn't a lesson in drawing parrots, but all right, and my last one, I could be whatever I wanted to, whether I want to make alien creatures, so I have to make sure I mark it to make sure it connects. And if you want to check it with your previous examples, you can always do that. And my last one, it could be a sea monster with lots of antennas, or it could be another type of animal or a person. All right, just make sure everything would connect to your other sides. So what that's going to be. Once you have completed drawing all your different parts, you want to take a black Sharpie and outline it. When you go to Sharpie though, however, you do want to make sure that you have it open, because if you Sharpie through the top with it closed, it might go onto your lower layers and you don't want to ruin your drawing. So open it up all the way, and so you're going to have 3 separate ones. You'll have front, middle, and the back. So just make sure you don't have your name. That should be on the back side. Once you are all finished, you want to use a black fine tip Sharpie to outline your designs, and use color pencils to color in. Take your time, make sure you get your coloring as smooth as you can. Do some blending or some shading, which we've been working in the last couple of classes. And I hope you guys have lots of fun with it. Once you're complete, you want to photograph your favorite pose and then upload it to Artsonia in the Exquisite Corpse Flipbook. Looking forward to seeing your work, 3rd grade.